Hello guys. So I'm going to do a maple leaf earrings class and I'm just making sure that all my multicasting is working. So give me just a sec. Okay, Facebook is working. Cool. Now is YouTube working? Yes, it is. Awesome. I love it when things work out. Okay. I'm going to tag a couple people. There we go. All right, so if you happen to be watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you guys are not able to see who I'm talking. You guys can't see each other's chats basically, so it'll be a little weird. But my goal is to try to multicast more often. Hey, Jill, we're going to be making these today. Hey, Maria, you got your kit ready? Awesome. This is going to be fun. Okay, so in your kit, you should have some 26 gauge wire and I believe two pre-cut pieces of 20 gauge. There's another ear wire. I am out of maple leaves, either that or they're hiding. So I'm going to be using some different beads because I could not find my maple leaves. Oh, there's one more spot I could check. Just thought about it. Oh, cool. I have green ones. I have a lot of green ones. Okay. Awesome. All right. Hey, Maria, is your 20 gauge wire pre-cut? Okay. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and cut mine. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to get a different maple leaf. Those are way too different in color. So for the like in general, are you asking if 20 gauge is the biggest wire in general? Those two match. Oh, no, no. I get what you're saying now. It just clicked. Yes, it is. Sorry, I'm a little hungry. Hello, Bladen over on YouTube. Bear with me, guys. I'm looking at 3 different chats. Thank you. Okay. So we have our 20 gauge and you want to get it smoothened out. You don't want any kinks and bends in it. And if you have nylon tip pliers, awesome. If you don't, you can use the handle of your pliers and pinch the wire in between your thumb and the handle. So that's a nice way to do it if you don't have any fancy tools. Okay, and this one's already pretty straight. So we're gonna start with one of our maple leaves, and what we're gonna do this first. So you need round nose pliers. Oh, hey, thank you, Jill. Yeah, so I am out of kits, but this class is always available. The kit is $8 if I remember correctly. It was 7 or 8. And then I probably put it on sale. But we're going to start. If anybody ever wants a kit in the future, feel free to reach out to me and then we can do this together. I do have a YouTube video on this tutorial. So we're going to start with one of our 20 gauge pieces. Maria, do you have one piece or 2 pieces? Okay, good. All right, so we're going to start with 1. And you're going to get the 2 ends of it to meet together. And you're just going to pull it to make a natural loop. And it's going to get a little bit harder to make it smaller because this is 20 gauge. So then you can take your round nose pliers or 6-step. If you're using round nose pliers, remember where on the pliers that you made your loop, because those are tapered. So if you made your loop on the smaller end, you're going to take a mental note or put a Sharpie mark on your pliers. You're going to make sure you use that same spot for the other earring because you want your loops to be the same size. So with this, if you look at mine, Maria, because I want to make sure we're on the same page. The wire that's pointing off to the right is on top. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and make our loop down here. Just nice and small because that's where the dangly is going to be. We're just going to make it nice and small. So here's my loop. Then what you're going to do is take your 26 gauge wire. Boop. And on the right side, you're going to take your 26 Leave yourself a tail so you have something to hold on to. And we're just going to wrap that piece of wire. And make sure your wraps are next to each other and just neat looking, nice and tight. And let me see. So for the coiling, we're going to do 3/4 of an inch. And it helps to wrap in this way. Okay, sounds good. Because I notice when I'm teaching, it's really easy to like want to do this and then tighten your wire, but that doesn't always work. If you're just coiling one piece of wire, you can just wrap it around like this. Yay. And it really helps to wrap the wire like this because you have that tension. So this is a great way to coil by hand. How's everybody's Sunday going? All right. And then you want to pay attention to this too. So the start of your coiling should be where that apex of the loop is. That's generally what you want for these earrings. And I am using 28 gauge because I'm out of tarnish resistant 26 gauge. Okay, so let me know when you've got that. Yay, Jill, that's awesome. I made bunny earrings, you guys. If you're following me on any of the social medias, they're done and there's pictures of them. Yes, Maria. Or no, 1 3/4. Or no, 3/4. You made me question myself. 3/4 of an inch. Okay, cool. So this tail right here, we're going to go ahead and flush cut that off. So we flush cut off that tail. And we're not going to cut this off yet because we got to check something. So now it helps if we turn this to the side because we need to straighten out this piece of wire. So you're going to take your flat nose pliers, and you can use 2 pairs of pliers to do this too. If you have it, you can hold your loop and then move the wire to the side. So what I'm going to do is my flat nose pliers are right up here at the apex. You want to keep your loop in the same spot. All you're going to do is turn your wrist and apply a little bit of pressure to get this wire to go straight to the side. Think about it like a wrapped loop, but this is a loop that we are not wrapping. I'm kind of just getting everything centered here. So let me know when you got that. I am hungry, guys. I should have eaten. Got it. Okay. So now you're going to grab one of your maple leaves and we're going to slide it on to the wire that we just made straight up and down. And so this, if you look at the example, we need the coiled wire to go up and around the maple leaf. So don't do yours yet, Maria. We need a little bit more because we want the coils long enough to nicely fit onto this wire. Hopefully that made sense. So we're going to do some more coils. Okay, awesome. A little more. So what I'm doing here, because you can keep your coiled wire out straight to nicely finish to get the rest of those coils. Because I've already bent mine up a little bit, I don't have all this room to go around, right? So what I'll do is I'm bringing the wire in between the two and I'm pulling with my hand down here and pushing that coil down. I'm going to move this a little lower for you guys. So that's what you want your coils to look like. So then, this is really important when it comes to wire wrapping. When you're going to go move a piece of wire, you've got to hold everything else. Otherwise, it'll move out of the place that you want it to be in. So this coiled wire, I'm going to bring it across the front. And it looks like the coil meets the wire. It's okay if it's a little bit past it. It's really no big deal at all. It's not imperfect, it's not wrong, nothing like that. So when you're happy with where your coils are sitting, we're gonna flush cut off our wire we just coiled with. Then what we're gonna do, so this is really important too, because we need to coil this 20 gauge around this 20 gauge. Really focus on absolutely not moving this wire. It's really easy to like just start twisting both of them. If you watch my hand movements, you'll get a really nice coil. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm bringing the wire around, and I'm gonna stop here, right? Because I want it to be tighter, and you wanna make sure you're holding everything in place. So I'm gonna change position, trying to be super thorough for this part because it's thicker wire to coil with. I'm holding everything. I'm holding down here and applying a little bit of pressure on this wire, and you can actually twist the piece, but just make sure everything stays in place. And it gives you that nice tight coil. And you want to go around 2 times. Just try to absolutely keep this piece straight up and down. So I'm going to go around one more time. And another trick too is if you guys look at the second coil, you're having trouble getting it a little bit tighter, you can use your chain nose or flat nose pliers. Oops. To kind of tighten that circle. Wow, it's hard to do that through camera. There we go. Like that. I hope that all helped. And you have, so we have our first coil and then our second full one. It looks like 3, but it's 2 full coils. Got it? Okay. So this short wire, just kind of tidy it. We want to make sure it's off to the left side for now. Um, the next thing we're gonna do, I think right now we should start the other earring so that they're mirroring each other and opposite. So I'm gonna set this down. We're gonna start the other one. And we want, there's ways to tighten it up at the end. If you want to, because mine is too. Yeah. So there's ways to tighten it up at the end. And if you, let's just do it right now. So sometimes when that happens, you can take your chain pliers, do this with caution. You can get the loop and the coils. If you grab up here and down here, just gently kind of squish it all down. Oops, sorry guys. And that kind of tightens everything up. And tightening your upper coil too will tighten that up. See, now mine's not moving. So it just takes a little bit of messing around with to get that tightened up. And sometimes you might have to do one extra coil around the top there, which is fine, really. But when we get to the point of this little swirly do helps the leaf like stay in place. Oops. Okay. Did you do an extra coil? Yeah. Okay, I'll do it with you. Okay. So now we're going to do the other earring. So get your two ends to meet. The wire on the right side, we're going to cross it over on the left. We're going to make our natural loop. See, because now the wire that's going off to the left is the one that's sitting on top. And then go ahead and get your loop a little bit smaller. Make sure you use the same area on your round nose pliers. And then you're going to take your 26 gauge. And okay, look, so I'm not left-handed. I'm going to have an awkward as hell time trying to coil and weave left-handed. So what I'm going to do for me is I'm going to flip this. Not that it really matters, but I'm going to flip it so I can comfortably wrap on that piece of wire. And then when I flip it back over, everything will still be mirrored. And so because we had to add a little bit of extra coiling, maybe we should just do an inch of coiling. Oop. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I am. I'm just a little hungry. I'm gonna make some fried rice after this. You're ecstatic. Yay. Are yours coming out pretty good? Are you happy so far? Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Let me see how much I got. I am almost at an inch. Right? Wire wrapping is amazing. Like, this little pair of earrings really doesn't take much. All right, now let me see where I'm at. Almost to an inch. Chicken. Ooh, that sounds so good. That sounds delicious, Jill. Honey barbecue chicken with Parmesan cheese potatoes. Okay, so I'm going to cut my little tail off and I'm going to remember to flip this over and tuck this little end in here. And then we want to straighten out the piece of wire on the right. Make sure your coils are on the left. We're going to straighten the piece of wire on the right. Like that. I'm holding. That's awesome. I love making things from scratch. I made cranberry bread recently that turned out pretty good, but I think next time I'm going to do the mixing of the cranberries a little bit different than on the recipe. Okay. So now we're going to grab our other maple leaf and we're going to put it on the up and down wire. And we're not going to cut this wire off yet because we want to make sure we have enough coils. Make sure you hold everything. I need like a couple more coils. Just a couple more. Squish them all down. This should be good. Yep. So if we lay our wire, we gotta lay our wire across the front. You have too many. Oh my gosh. Okay. We'll go ahead and unwrap some. I'm gonna go ahead and cut mine off. And then I'll wait for you for this part. You know what I think? Because I'm using 28 gauge wire and you're using 26 gauge wire. So I didn't think about that. Okay, you ready? So remember, hold everything and only wrap this piece around that 20 gauge. That did not come out as tight as I would like it. Sometimes rocking the wire back and forth too helps you to get it a little bit tighter. And remember, we did an extra coil on the other earring. So we're going to make sure we do that on this one. Okay. Cool. Tighten things up a little bit. There we go. All right, let me know when you're ready, Maria. Okay. Now, here we are, right? I'm just going to throw out some ideas for inspiration. If you really wanted to, you could add beads and bring the wire down this side. There's so many different things that you can do with these two pieces of wire that we have. Um, but for this, what we're going to do now, yep, the loopy loop. So, this loopy loop, okay, so we're going to cut this little piece of wire at the 1/2 inch mark because we want to give ourselves, yep, 1/2 inch mark because we want to give ourselves enough to make that loop. Um, Maria, you've done a lot of loopy doops, right? No. Okay. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of wire before we do this, just to give you a really good idea. Okay. So for a nice little loopy doop, let me grab some normal round nose pliers. Oh, those cut. Okay. So focus camera. Hang on a sec. There we go. Okay, so you have your pliers Wherever you put your wire is going to determine the size of your loop. So I try to go towards the smaller end. And what I'll do is roll. I'm just rolling the wire around the plier, right? And you want, see how my pokey, you cannot really see the pokey under or on top. You want that pokey to touch itself, its own wire. And then from there, you got to think about leverage and where you're applying pressure. So you hold your loop, you keep going around, but keep the pokey against itself. I'm trying to do this as thorough as possible on camera. So keep the pokey against itself. If you pull too tight, you're gonna end up making a piggy's tail, and I'll show you that after we do this one. So when you get to here, right, if you grab here, you're gonna, your wires are not gonna be next to each other anymore. They're gonna be on top of each other, and that pokey is gonna come out of place. So what you do to keep making that twirly is keep working your way around. And then you can use your chain nose pliers to kind of level everything out. Another way you can do it is use your chain nose pliers or your fingers, whatever you're comfortable with. And that is how you can make a nice spiral. Now watch this. This is how it's really easy to make a piggy's tail. You're here, right? You're trying to make your loop. If you go to keep twisting because you've now squished the wires around on top of each other, your pokey is now out of place. This one's not, but typically it does happen. And you have this piggy's tail is what I call it. So I hope that really, really helps. So now with this, with our earring, I try to find what's comfortable. So I'm going to hold my earring upside down because I don't know, I can be very right-brained and I like to turn to the right. I am holding the left earring. The earring with the coils on the left, the one that we just were working on. D did you figure it out, Maria? Which earring we're on? Yeah, okay. So, I'm gonna flip mine upside down because that really helps me, or even sideways is helpful too. And I'm gonna grab my end here and determine, like, how big I want the swirly to be. And I'm gonna roll the wire, and I'm gonna make sure that pokey is touching itself. That was kind of a big loop, but that's okay. I'm gonna tidy that. Okay. So then what you do at this point, because we have this small piece of wire, right? This is where leverage comes in. One of my plier noses is going into the loop. The other one is staying outside of the loop like this. So I'm basically grabbing the pokey end and trying to keep it to where you guys can see. I am applying a little bit of pressure up here. So I made this little wave and it gives me that shape to bring that swoopy doo over. Then, in some cases, you'll have to kind of get it flush, get everything flush with each other. And we have a little swoopy doo. I think that is probably the most thorough I've ever explained a swoopy doo so far. And of course, if you want, you can always bring it down a little bit more onto the leaf just by grabbing it and pulling it down a little bit. Yay, you did it, Maria. I'm so glad. I can't wait to see how yours turn out. Okay, so now we're going to do the same to the other earring, this one. So we're going to we're going to make sure we leave ourselves 1/2 inch. And the same process on the other one. Now, I love Swoopy Doos so much because they are a great way to tie in extra wire. Mine don't look totally exactly the same, but it's okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can fix that. I try to be careful because I don't want to mess up my wire too much. I might just have to leave it. It's okay. It's still cute. I hope this is a lot better for you guys on like super zoom. I'm super zoomed in right now. Don't mind my gimpy finger. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for the next part, Maria. And literally, this design we're doing right now, you can do it with any beads. You can do it with round beads, literally anything. Okay, No worries. It's a very, very fun design. And if you've ever done my pendant with beads class, it's kind of the same concept, except you're weaving between two base wires. What are the green ones in front of you? These are check glass maple leaves. Thank you. I have tons of them. I could do 10 for $3 because that's about how much is on a strand. Yay. Did you do your other swoopy, Maria? Okay. So have you done wrapped loops? Okay. So with this, so we have our left earring and our right earring. Really, it doesn't matter when they're done. The biggest thing is through the process that you know which is which so that at the end they mirror each other. So I'm going to pick up the left one and we're going to take our flat pliers and I'm going to push this wire off to the left. And this too, this is important. This little space in here is determined by where you're bending it over on your chain nose pliers. I always try to use the tip. And then with your round nose pliers, I'm going to go up and over all the way. And I can't go around anymore, so I need to let go and rotate. My balloon is crooked, so all I'm going to do is just pull everything over a little bit so I can center it. It's still a little crooked, but little things like this always take a little bit of finagling. So we have our loop. The best way to wrap a loop is to make sure you have a nice 90-degree angle. And you want to hold it. You can use 2 pairs of pliers to do this. For me, I'll use 2 pairs. It depends on how much wire I have hanging off to comfortably wrap it. So, typically when it comes to these wrapped loops, I'll coil as many as I can fit. So I did, it's 1, 2, I did about 3, almost 4 coils. And then what I'll do is I'll get it flush in place. Now, with this, if you flip it to the back, you could finish off this little space right in here, and you could do a swirly on the back if you have enough wire to. Um, I have enough wire too, so I think I'm gonna do that. So this wire's gonna keep going off to the side. I'm gonna get it nice and tucked in place. Are you doing okay, Maria? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this piece to have a swoopy on the back. Cause why not? I think it'll be cute. They'll be reversible earrings technically. And it adds a little bit of character to all those coils there. And just push it down. There we go. Yay. I'm gonna kind of tuck this in just a little more so everything looks nice and flush. Okay. So then on the earring on the right, are you still good, Maria? Yeah, okay. Remember where you made your um little 90-degree angle on your pliers. So I have my pliers in, and now I'm going to bend the wire off to the right. Oh, and then I'm going to go up and over all the way. Need to give myself a little more room to keep going. And I'm going to center my balloon. And then I'm going to straighten this out so I can easily wrap it. So then we're going to wrap this. Two, three. I'm going to go all the way around because I made a swoopy doo on the other side. But I'm going to see. Those are about the same length, which is great. That's why you really want to pay attention to the placement of your pliers because that's going to change what you're doing with the wire. Now, in some cases, if for some reason your length is just a little bit off, you can just try to find little ways. See where I'm putting my pliers? You can find little ways to get everything squished down a little bit together. Sometimes that helps. You can't extend, but you can squish together. I think it's better to squish together than try to make one longer, personally. So we got that. Now I'm going to cut this so I can make my swoopy on the back. And I'm going to use my flat pliers, make sure everything's flush, make sure that's kind of straightened out. Everything always takes a little finagling. Nice. Okay. And they are like total opposites. Then what you can do is go down to your loops here. And you got to think about this. So for kind of centering your bottom loop, whatever direction you pull in is where wire is going to be pulled from, if that makes any sense. So if I take my pliers and I grab the loop and I pull towards my thumb, it's going to pull from the wire that's coiled. And if I were to grab the loop and pull towards me, it's going to pull from the wire going through the bead. So it's good to kind of keep those things in mind. And you don't have to do like a major pull or anything. Just kind of wiggle it a little bit. Mine did tighten up by doing that. But that is how you can center, get your loops more center if you feel the need to. Okay. Now we have our earring dangles. So, Maria, you should have 2 beads, or you should have 4 beads. Uh-oh, you messed up your loop. Are you gonna try to, is it fixable? I'm gonna grab some head pins. No! Oh my gosh, Maria. Do you have any more 20 gauge? Do, 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 do. You do. Okay. Okay, so you'll just have to redo the other earring then, it sounds like, right? Not the same color. Of course it isn't. Okay. Well, it's antique copper is what it is. If you want, I can pick some up and send you some. Or my other idea is you could attach, depending on how bad you want this pair of earrings, you could attach this to the butterfly wing. I think it would be a nice little addition. But that's just my creative brain going. Or you could redo this pair of earrings in the color that you do have also. Yeah. I mean, I do too. That way it's not like it's not going to waste or anything. And you won't have mismatching earrings. Okay. So, are you ready to do the dangly? Little dangle, dangle. Okay. So, for yours, you should have a head pin and a little red bead and a little bead cap. So, you're going to put the little red bead on your head pin with the little bead cap. And I'm just going to use this little guy. Actually, hang on. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, that looks good. So, we're just going to do our basic wrapped loop. You want to watch where you're putting your pliers. You want them flush against your beads. Bend your wire over. Um, Typically, as far as mirroring earrings, the dangle isn't like too big of a deal when it comes to the little dangly. Going up and over, and we don't want to wrap it yet because we have to connect this to the leaf. So we have this, and I found it just will really mess you up if you try to force two intertwining pieces together. So what I'll do is lift the loop open a little bit, and that gives me room to hook the two pieces together. And then hold your loop, just only hold the head pin loop. It's really easy to try to grab both loops. And we're just gonna wrap this wire around as many as you can fit, but you also don't want it to be so tight that you break your beads with all that pressure. So I've left a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm going to flush cut off the rest of this little wire. And then we have a little pokey end here. And we just want to tuck that away. I call it the cut and tuck. And we've attached our little dangly. And I love wire wrapped loops over like attaching with jump rings because if this is not going anywhere unless you cut it, which I really love that. So we've got our earring. Thank you, Keiki. And then we're going to take our ear wire, figure out which side the opening is on. Marie, one perfect earring. I love to see it. You guys send me a picture. And lifting the loop. Make sure you put your earring on the right way. And then close the loop. That came out pretty nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Bend the wire over. You could attach the other dangle for this kit to this. It would have two dangles, and then it would be a unique butterfly wing addition. Okay, and I'm going to hook these. Oh, I should lift the loop first. And then hook this on. Close. Okay. This head pin felt like square wire for like half a second there. Wrapping the loop. Cutting the end off. And tucking that pokey. Pokies are no-no. Okay. And then the ear wire. I'm going to zoom out. Ta-da! The cool thing is I do have a tutorial for this on YouTube. There's so many different ways to teach this project. It's probably slightly different. But this video is on YouTube as we speak. So you can rewatch this. Okay, I'm going to just run these just because. Okay, these are running. Cakey, that's okay. Yeah. I think this time around I explained some of the small things a little bit more deeply. But this is a great little design. It's literally two pieces of wire and then your head pins and parts and doodads. It's truly, truly amazing what you can do with wire. Okay. And then these two, well, these are, I should keep these. Can you order another set? These are gorgeous. Thank you guys. Maria, so you want like another kit? The only thing is I don't have any more of these. All I have left is the green ones. Do you want me to make you a kit that's just like this one? You have one, you can, yeah. That's the only thing is I don't have any more of these. colors. One like this is fine. Okay. Let me see. Maria, I think you got the kit for $6, right? Am I remembering correctly? I think okay. All right, give me a sec. So this is going to be for a kit. So if anybody wants a kit just like this, I have so many of these green maple leaves, it's not even funny. And everything to go with it. Kits are $6. And then I'm gonna make myself a little note. Maple kit. Thank you, Maria. I will get that out. Oh, tomorrow's a holiday, so there's no mail. So I'll get that out on Tuesday. Oh my gosh, don't feel like crying. That's okay. You got one whole earring. I can throw one of these in there for you. I'll go through and see if I can find another one of these. There could be one just freaking floating around, who knows? But if I find one, I'll just throw it in your package. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a show. Got it. This sounds good. Mhm. You're welcome. Please, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Facebook, let me know. Drop a comment, like this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And tomorrow I'm doing a little raid train show for Artisan Alley. Um, that's awesome, Maria. That's good. Okay. I am gonna call it a show. Can you text me a picture? I would love to see that. Yep. All right, I'm gonna go, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.